right. Hi, Denise.
Hello, Sister Jackie.
How are you doing?
I am well. Thanks so much for your help last week, too, with those ingredients.
I wish I'd seen it earlier, but let me close this. Okay, I had to close it out. Okay, I wish I'd seen it earlier, and I had a way. I didn't bring my calculation, but I thought that we'd do it later. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to a taste of manna. And I had something I just wanted to go through with you. I just wanted to show you something because I know a lot of people that said, "Why a taste of manna?" And I was looking for actually I started thinking about this. This topic came to me about a year and a half ago, right when I first started with Living Manna, because they kind of brought the new people together. They maybe almost 2 years ago. What ministries are you in that you want to be involved in? Well, I was in school, heavy in college, working on my master's, and I thought I cannot be involved in nothing. So busy because I mean, school was hard. It was, and I did it. I did it very aggressively, and I actually had no time for anything. And I didn't come into actually when I came into Living Man, I thought, oh, I don't have to do anything because the church that I came from, I was just so busy. I was over the health ministry and the outreach part of it, and just everything. And I thought, and I did other things as well. And I thought, I'm going to come in and not do anything. And I thought, well, okay, what could I do? And I know it was Gigi and a couple of others, and the pastor was there at the first meeting I attended, and they were trying to put together. I think that's when they started talking about the glow groups or the small groups. And I thought, well, I could do the cooking show. I could because I did enjoy that, and I thought in doing that, I could just bring in some of the things that I'm learning and just kind of keep my audience up to date with those things. But well, it never happened. And after I got off the call, I thought, well, what could I call it? And the name came to me, Taste of Manna. But I want to share something with you so I kind of stuck with the Taste of Manna for the podcast, but I just do want to share something that let me go back to let me get back here so I can go to what I'm looking for. Okay, here. Yes, here it is. I actually was going to talk about it here it is. Here, I'm going to share. When I started this, I did a little research. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I looked up the word manna, and and we all know that the children of Israel, they were fed manna in the wilderness. And so, I kind of wanted to know a little bit more about it, the word manna. So it comes from the Hebrew word, which means the Hebrew word man. Boy, I was shocked. So the manna, the Hebrew word was man for manna. And I should have been shocked, but what it says, man, M-A-N? No. And the Greek word manna, and it's used in the Bible to refer to the food that God provided, that he provided, let's see, to the Israelites while they were in the desert. And so, but the word literally means substance exuded by the tamarisk tree. And of course, I was going to do my second assignment. I'm going to look up in the Bible everywhere where reference is made to the uh, the tamarisk tree, but a substance that is exuded by the tamarisk tree. So the word manna comes from the Hebrew word man and the Greek word manna. And I went through that. So in the Bible, manna is a sweet white substance that God provided the Israelites during their journeys. So we know all about that. But the tamarisk tree, I didn't know about that. So the tamarisk tree produces salt crystals on its leaves. And overnight, water droplets form around the crystals. So manna was described as tasting like honey, which was a delicacy in ancient times. But I like the word of manna, substance exuded, because I look at the word man and I'm thinking, even in the beginning of the garden where God created, he created, where he placed the garden and he put there in creation for man's substance, for our sustenance. And that's why I wanted to associate the word, the substance the foods that so the manna is the substance that man should have. And this is Jackie making this up. So I'm going to take, if I look at the word substance, the substance of the manna is substance that man needs for life, for living. And that is total living. And that's for every part of our body, our brain, our every organ, to come, it's everything every substance that God has given us in the Bible was for some organ, was to contribute to some function or mechanism of our digestion, taking in food, absorbing and distributing the nutrients of that food, and then eliminating, and then the elimination, based upon the fiber of the things that once it has been distributed throughout the body, that includes the blood, and everything else, the cells and the muscles. And then, of course, the final part of the digestion system was the elimination process. So substance, really, if I look at that, is everything that man needed for life, for our total existence. So I just want to share that with you. I thought that was interesting. I'm going to do more on the tamarisk tree because I do know that the Bible talks a lot about the tamarisk tree. And I want to look at, I think in my research of that, I'm going to see how was the tamarisk tree used in the Bible, including its leaves, because every part, you take something like, I want to say ginger. Is it ginger? I think ginger can come from the bark of the tree. Isn't that right, Jill? Because I do know that the oils come from the bark, the ginger, because I know the ginger oil is taken from the bark of the tree. And in that every part of nature was used, we can use for some purpose or the other. I think about how sometimes people peeling off of the apple. Oh, no, 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 don't do that. And when I think of what you're peeling and throwing away. But, and when I think of it that way, I look at the part that when God created that apple or any other fruit, it was designed for all of it, the whole thing. Now, except for apples, we have to be cautious of the seed. Seed, like I think I talked about, the seed in the apples are not healthy, and we want to make sure that we always eliminate those because those can be poisonous to our system. But you can also always do research. There are some seeds, like the avocado seed, is very, very nutritious for us. But even in that, I think about how God created everything in that product for some function, to contribute to our health in some form, fashion, or way. And so I don't know, I just think of when I think of whole foods, I think of God's design for that entire product to benefit the substance of man. That's our sustenance. And not just from a sustenance base. When I look at food from an intake from that particular perspective, I'm thinking of it from a life, from me mentally, emotionally, physically, as well as spiritually. Ellen White wrote a lot on how our diet contributes. She talks a lot, a whole lot, a lot about how it contributes so much to us spiritually, having a proper diet and maintaining a proper diet. And I do believe that. Denise, Paula, do you have any questions? Jill is going to start. She's going to do a little bit more on the oils tonight. And do you all have any questions so far about anything that we've discussed?
I think
Or
the
do you just want to?
only question I have is, can you really eat an avocado seed?
So what I do is I take it and the recipe I had to let it dry, and then I chop it, I blend it up in my blender, and it makes a powder. And I use that powder in my in my smoothie.
Wow, that's a great idea. Because I have three drying right now. I'm going to try and plant them.
Yeah.
Because my mother said you could do avocado plants. You can make the mini trees, so you can have avocados. So I have three seeds that I've been holding on to, wait until they're thoroughly dried so I can plant them. But I think I'm going to take one of them and I'm going to do what you just said, Sister Jackie. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I just came across that a couple of years ago and I wanted to try it for myself. Jill, have you ever done the avocado in your smoothie? Have
Yes.
you ever eaten it? The avocado seed, not the avocado, the seed.
I've not eaten the seed, but I've put it in my smoothie.
The
The
seed?
seed, the seed.
Yes. Yeah.
The seed's softer than it looks. It'll break
Yeah, it
up
is.
pretty
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
It's high protein, just like these seeds are, for our bodies.
Yes. Which is another reason, especially if you don't eat meat, to get protein, a very good way to get protein. But I came
Seeds, yeah.
across, yeah, scientific research a few years back, and that's what and I tried it and I thought, wow, this is something. The more and more I learn about food, it's just amazing. All
Yeah, we have a lot of
right.
avocados in California.
You what?
California has a lot of avocados.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
We had an avocado tree for a while, one place that we lived.
I want to plant one. I want to, even if I have to, I'm going to try planting one in my yard this year. We'll see how it works.
We did that
I
too,
have a
but
potted
we
plant
moved.
recipe that my mom sent me, a potted plant. She sent me something on YouTube that you can do the avocado plant out of a potted plant. So I'll send it to
Yes.
your sister Jackie. She
Yes.
swears by it.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to do that. I love avocados and I love them. And I could literally eat them every day. I did this thing. I'm gonna tell you about the nutrient profile in the avocado seed. It's um they're rich in antioxidants, fiber, healthy fats. They potentially aid in digestion, cholesterol management, and supporting overall well-being. And I thought that was really in that seed. I thought that, and there's other things as well as studies. Maybe next time I'll share a study with you. But anyway, Jill's going to talk a little bit more about the oils tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to her. You want to go on, Jill?
Sure. Well, first of all, I was wanting to talk to you about frequency in the oils, and I don't know if you've heard of that before, but frequency it's a measure of electrical energy that's in your body, and everything that's living has frequency or energy. Um, and so there's different oils. I'll tell you a little bit about them. Like lavender, for instance, would be like 118 frequency for the lavender. Frankincense, and I'll explain a little more to you about it. But I just thought I'd tell you right off the bat, they're pretty high. Thought I had it marked here. Let's see, frankincense. Oh, here it is. 147 megahertz is the frequency. I'm sorry, I don't think I told you megahertz is the measure. And then joy, this is one of my favorite oils. It has a pretty high frequency as well. Let's see, joy, 188 megahertz. So a person's
Joy comes in the kit that I'm giving away, right? Nobody has brought anybody, so I may not be giving one away this month. So
What's
joy is
joy?
in the kit, huh?
What is that?
What? The joy?
joy,
I
it's
never
a
heard of that.
mixture. It's a blend.
Oh, okay. I thought,
And
okay, it's a blend of several oils. Okay, sorry.
right, and joy has rose in it, which is one of the highest in megahertz frequency. And that would be, let's see, how high is it? 320 megahertz. And to put it into perspective, a human body has between 62 megahertz to 68 megahertz. So you want it to be that level or higher. When your megahertz start going down, the megahertz in your frequency, you get disease begins at 58 megahertz, colds at 58 megahertz, 57 megahertz for the flu, 55 for candida, 52 for Epstein-Barr, and 42 for cancer going down. So there's a lot of ways that your frequency in your body can be elevated or lowered, and you don't want it to be lowered necessarily. Very
Can you
low
tell us
anyway.
a little bit about frequency? Can you define it
I
as
will.
it relates to our body and things
Mhm.
like that?
I have something to read about it here, I think will help.
Okay.
It says, because science, and this comes in the essential oil book that I have, it's called Essential Oils Desk Reference, and it has some very good information here. Frequency or electrical energy. Because science has long taught us to rely on what we can see and touch, We often don't notice that our spirit, thoughts, and emotions and body are all made of energy. Everything is vibrating. In fact, each of us has a personal vibration that communicates who we are to the world and helps shape our reality. Now, that comes from a book called Frequency, The Power of Personal Vibration, 2009. When studying the topics of vibration, frequency, and energy, it is a wise man or woman who realizes he or she does not know everything. Who is to argue with the German biophysicist Fritz Albert Popp, author of 150 scientific studies, who proposed that all living things emit light energy, and that includes humans. Now, it also includes food, which we'll talk about as well. But it says here, let's see, there was some other things I was going to tell you about. Okay, biofrequency and disease. Frequency is defined as a measurable rate of electrical energy that is constant between any 2 points. When there is frequency, there is electromagnetic potential. We are being influenced by the magnetic action or attraction of the frequencies that surround us each day, and these frequencies influence our state of well-being. Everything has an electrical frequency measured in megahertz. Okay. Robert O. Becker, MD, documents the electrical frequency of the human body in his book, The Body Electric. A frequency generator was developed in the early 1920s by Royal Raymond Rife. If you've heard of the Rife machine before, MD. He found that by using certain frequencies, he could destroy a cancer cell or virus. He found that these frequencies could prevent the development of disease, and others would destroy disease. I'm not going
So
to
I
read
have a
all of
question.
them.
I have a
Uh-huh.
question. Yeah, so how do we measure? Do you know how, let's say that I wanted to see what my frequency was right now. What would I use to measure that? How could I measure it?
Well, I believe this Rife machine here would be able to measure it. As
How
far
would
as
I
us
access
measuring
that?
it,
Would I have to go to someone and have one?
I tried it not too long ago. I just probably about a month ago, I went to a naturopath that was using a Rife machine,
Okay.
and we didn't use it to measure anything, though. It was something that helps raise your frequency.
Okay. So a
Um,
naturopath would be able to, would have the equipment. And I think that
uh,
answers it
I
because
think
I think,
so.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many have the Rife machine, but I found it. That was my first time using it.
How do you
But
spell right machine? I'm gonna put it in
R
the chat.
I F RIFE.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I knew someone would ask me that question, but I hadn't researched it well enough today since I had so much going on.
So it's used
Um,
to measure the megahertz of
yeah,
megahertz.
frequency is designed as a measurable rate of electrical energy that is constant between any 2 points. That's how it's explained here. When there is frequency, there is electrical magnetic potential. So yeah, that'd be something that just give you a little information. You may want to study it out yourself. Look up the
Yeah,
information about Raymond Rife. He started that in 1920s. So
yeah.
it's something that's been going on for a really long time, but not popular in the medical field for obvious
Yeah.
reasons.
I've also put a link in the chat. Right. Yes. Yeah. It's used
And
to
you could look
measure.
at these books too if you were interested in the subject.
I
Um,
also put a link in the chat. And the link, it actually, Common Reason Ministries, and they are Adventist based. And he does, and I sent this to you, Jill. He does, and Paula, this is the one I was going to send to you. I just haven't gotten around to it. And he does an excellent job of talking about our thoughts, how we are energy, our thoughts and our brain. He does an excellent job to break that down. And I think he put into perspective our brains and our thoughts with it, and we as God has created us. He is an MD, but it is Common Reason Ministries, It is Adventist-based. And so I put the link in the chat. It is pretty lengthy, so you may have to break it up in a couple of sessions. And I will send it to your email, Paula, since I think that, yeah, you may not be able to get to it in the chat. But I think so if you want to, yeah, so tell us, so what, let's say, what are some of the most in the kit? Can you talk about the oils in the kit from a perspective as to how it would raise our frequency, and how much of it will we have to take and for how long?
Yeah. Well, I'll start off by saying this. Essential oils start at about 52 megahertz and go as high as, actually, this says 320, but I know now that there's actually oils that go up to 500. But the book here only goes up to 320. It's a little bit outdated, but there's newer information, I should say. So you see that it's high enough to raise our frequency higher, because our frequency, if it starts going down to like, we start getting sick and go down to 50 or 40 and get into the disease area, then we can take the oils and it'll raise it back up. It says right here, there was one study that they did where, I'd like to read about that study actually. Let me get over there and see if I can find that, because that's really interesting. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Okay, this is talking about coffee, so it's just giving you an example so you can understand how it works. In one test, the frequency of two individuals, the first a 26-year-old male and the second a 24-year-old male, were measured at 66 megahertz, which is normal. The first individual held a cup of coffee without drinking any, and his frequency dropped to 58 megahertz. Now, for coffee drinkers, this might not be good news, but it'll give you an idea of how this works.
So hold on, I put this in chat. So he was 66, that's the normal, and he drank a cup of
26.
coffee?
Yes, he did not drink it. He was just holding it.
Oh, just holding it, and it dropped his megahertz?
And it lowered his megahertz.
Okay.
The first individual held a cup of coffee without drinking any, and his frequency dropped to 58 megahertz in 3 seconds. He put the coffee down and inhaled an aroma of essential oils. Within 21 seconds, his frequency had returned to 66 megahertz. The second individual took a sip of coffee, and his frequency dropped to 52 megahertz. In the same 3 seconds. However, no essential oils were used during the recovery time, and it took 3 days for his frequency to return to its normal 66 megahertz. So it shows you how quickly the oils work.
Yeah.
To bring your megahertz back up to where he was in a normal range. One surprising aspect of the study measured the influence that thoughts have on the body's electrical frequency. Negative thoughts lowered the measured frequency by 12 megahertz, and positive thoughts raised the measured frequency by 10 megahertz. It was also found that prayer and meditation increased the measured frequency levels by 15 megahertz.
Yeah.
So, prayer and meditating on the Lord, that will raise our frequency. Isn't that really interesting?
It is, but there are even studies that's showing that prayer, the people that have a life of prayer, prayer and meditation on the Bible and the Word of God don't experience as much depression and some of the anxiety as others. So yeah,
that's having a higher frequency.
Right. So the good thing about that, I want to make one point. So why is this important? We're looking at the 8 laws of health, and we know that the 8 laws of health includes N for nutrition, E for exercise, W for water, sunshine, temperance, rest. In the rest area also comes stress. How to reduce stress so that our bodies can rest. So it's not just laying down, it's not just getting enough sleep in a matter of how many hours of sleep I'm getting, but it's also the quality of the sleep that I'm getting during those hours. So let's say that I'm diffusing a lavender after I can tell, like, take my life right now, high anxiety at work, the pressure of the debt of my And when I get off of that computer, you can just imagine what my frequency is going to be, right? So the last thing, what would be so essential and helpful, especially, and this is just to key you in, the body heals at night. That's the other significance of sleeping,
Yes.
going to bed at a certain time. There's even within certain hours, there are certain parts of your body, certain organs go through their detoxification and healing process. So let's say that before I go to bed, or even while I'm sleeping, running the diffuser or rubbing some of the oils on the bottom, my feet. There's several different ways in which you can use it. You don't have to run your diffuser. You can rub lavender on your feet. I could just imagine that it's bringing my frequency. It's bringing me back down into a state where my body can relax enough, to bring me into a level of relaxation that my body can enter into a deeper sleep, causing me to have a better quality of rest. So that's one of the, yeah. Go on, Denise.
So I love that we're on this topic, and I want to just get clarification. Now, I used to be Catholic and a Buddhist, and I loved my oils. And then I became a Christian and a Seventh-day Adventist. And this is the first time I have heard a cohesive discussion with oils, frequencies, Adventism, and Christianity. I've never heard that before. I just want to let you know, I've never heard all four of those discussed on the same platform. I almost thought that it was a taboo because I love oils. And my niece used to have the essential oil kits through some other place, I can't remember. And I bought a few and I loved them. But then I became Adventist, and I was like, I gotta get rid of my oils. I can't listen to the Forsaggio scale. I can't listen to frequencies, all that, because it's so been advertised, even on my apps, on my watch and everything, with meditation and with this whole Far Eastern thing, that I think my programming of my brain, I'm hearing what you're saying. I know about megahertz. I know about oils, but processing it, it's like an oxymoron. So I just want to, if you guys can touch on that, because I don't think most Christians know it's okay to use, actually, I don't, that it's okay to use oils. It's okay to know the frequency of my body. It's part of the 8 laws of health, and it's okay. I'm not going to hell. I'm not creating a sin.
Right. Let me give you some biblical examples. And I do have a presentation that I'll take maybe one day and just do the presentation on oils. But let me give you some biblical examples. And this same doctor, actually, the link that I put in he was doing a Sabbath school, and he mentioned it. And I thought, boy, that just went by me. And we just talked about this recently, sister. We just talked about this recently. The Good Samaritan. The Good Samaritan. The Bible says of the Good Samaritan that he bound up his wounds and he put oil on them. The oils, what type of oil was he putting, and what was it being used for? Medicinal services. Purposes.
Amen.
And this, I didn't even think about this. Why do you think they brought baby Jesus all of the oils that they brought him? Think about it. Yes.
Frankincense and myrrh.
Yes.
Yeah, frankincense is great. Yeah.
Purification, yes. Another thing that I hadn't thought about, that this same pastor, I forget, he's a doctor, but it makes so much. He says, the other scripture in the Bible that says, when there's someone among you that's sick, let him call for the elders and let them anoint him. He said that anointing was used, that oil because someone says, well, one of the and I'm gonna be honest, I had always thought this as well, that it was just, they said that, it was just any type of oil. And he said, no, it wasn't. It was a medicinal oil. So that's that's why we're getting back into the things to me, this is a way of getting back to nature. So there of all types of almost every oil in the Bible, think about it, that they were using. This Good Samaritan, why would he put oil on the victim's wounds? Yeah, and you just have to, yeah. And we don't bring all of these things together, but we should. Go on, Jim. Let me ask you, does that make sense, Denise?
It so does. I mean, again, I had a really hard time processing this because it reminded me of my old days of sin. And it just goes to show it's something else that I guess the devil has kind of tried to hijack. I mean, this is God's natural plan, these
Amen.
oils. These oils are because it was used at his birth, but it was also used at his death with the aloes and the myrrh and everything else. So the full cycle of our Lord from birth to death involved oils. And I just
Yeah,
never put that together until you just brought that out.
yeah.
Uh-huh. That's right.
Yeah, we forget those things. It's I hate to say, a lot of these cultures that don't believe in God, in the true and living God, you know, the Chinese have been using herbs, those are things of nature for years, for healing. I mean, for
Exactly.
years, they still use a lot of these herbal
Mhm.
things. And where are they coming from? They're coming exactly from what God gave us back in Genesis. The herbs, how to eat that, these all of these medicinal, and you have to think oils were used before antibiotics were, and I didn't even realize that either until just a couple of years ago. Oils were used. I mean, oh, they were used really well until the discovery of antibiotics, and so, yeah, oils were all we had at one particular time. But go on, Jill.
Yeah, it says it has been demonstrated that we can change lower depressed feelings, as Jackie was talking about, and negative attitudes with the application of essential oils that carry frequencies in the higher range, resulting in a positive change of attitude and mood, thereby uplifting our spirits. And it just makes sense. God gave us plants for every way to heal our bodies. So every disease, everything that's ever going to come, God already had it all planned out. But yes, you're right. I like what you said, Denise, is people are hijacking it in some new age and all of that. They're into the oils and different things, but they're using them in a different way.
Yeah,
These are meant for healing.
yeah,
They're meant to help our bodies be well. And God planned that when he made the plants
yeah,
and even had the oils extracted from the plants in Bible days, as Jackie said. A lot of information in this essential oils desk reference about that as well, all about the biblical oils in the front of it here. So that'll be something that Jackie will talk about at one point too. But it
oh
says
yeah,
down here, we do not often hear it taught that sickness, disease, depression, negative thoughts, and emotions are of a low frequency. No one hears that. They don't understand that. And it is perhaps a new thought for many people. Few people relate to the idea that devitalized and processed foods, that's another thing I want to draw out here. Consumer products made with chemicals, the consumption of drugs, alcohol, and tobacco, and polluted air and water envelope us in an environment of low frequencies. It's been said that the lower the frequency, the closer we come to sickness, disease, and eventually death. The higher the frequency, the closer we come to God and a life of happiness, health, and prosperity. I really
amen.
like that right there.
I wish above all
So,
things that thy will prosper and be in good health, even as thy soul prosper. I want to give an example. I want to give an example that maybe we can relate to music. Music has the
yes.
ability, yeah, it has the ability to bring up and take down.
Mhm.
Now they're
Okay,
using a lot of music for stress relieving therapy, relaxation therapy. Music therapy is becoming very popular, and I actually I have recommended it to several of my clients. But I think one of the keys is more the instrumental type music, and it's not the music that has the height, the beat, the sync. It's not syncopated music. It is more of the instrumental type music that is very good for healing the body as well. But the example I wanted to give you, if you think about a type of music, is called the blues, blues. You can literally listen to that music. And what is it going to do? It does exactly what its name says.
And the blues.
It's the blues. And it
Yeah.
depresses you. It pulls you down deeper and deeper into your grieving. And that's
Mm.
why even going through a grieving period, we have to learn how to be intentional with our environment, the type of music that I'm listening to, because we want to listen to the instrumental music, the music that's going to cultivate our brains, that's going to actually add to that frequency. We want to listen to, and we want to, um, the oils. Another good thing. These are some of the things that and it's a good thing we're talking about, because we're talking about the 8 laws of health. The 8 laws of health identify those areas of focus, and we're just here identifying how we can eliminate stress, how we can help eliminate toxins even in our bodies, and toxic thoughts even, because I think what you just indicated, Jill, also talks about toxic thoughts, toxic
Just
talking,
thinking wrong things.
thinking wrong. Yes. And that's why I really want you to listen to that video. And I don't know, Gina, if you get a chance, grab that link to the video, that first video, and listen to that. He's an MD. He talks about all of these things. So, I mean, it's just amazing. I have to go back and listen to it again, but he talks about some of these very same things that we're talking about. He doesn't necessarily go into oils, but he's talking about our environment, even our thoughts and our way of thinking. And that's why the Bible tells us that to be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing. Our minds have to be renewed, daily. I just want to stop here and pause. Are there any questions that you have? Anyone?
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily have a question. I wanted to make a comment in regards to music. I think one of the blessed times on the planet was the 18th century, since most of the music seemed to have entered into the hymnal. A lot of these hymns can literally take you from being depressed and anxious into really setting you free and giving you hope, and uplift your life and literally transform the way that you think and live. This is why we are encouraged to sing a song. In the Psalms, David will say, "Sing to the Lord," and the Lord loves when we praise Him with hymns and songs, because musically we are wired to connect with our Savior as well.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Yes, you are absolutely right. In fact, studies are showing, and maybe I'll get one for next time, even music like, was it Mozart? They have even done some of these type musics and showed, and it has induced physical healing in some people. Go on, Gina. Your hand was up next. Go on, Gina.
Okay.
You're on mute. Okay.
Yeah,
Hi.
mine. Yeah, I had to find it. When Ross was diagnosed with cancer, one of the first things that his naturopath wanted to do was remove all, well, first of all, excess oil. So like no fried foods, that kind of stuff. But even adding it into like a recipe for even baking, if it didn't come in the plant that it came from, he wasn't supposed to have any of it.
Yeah.
So are you talking about healing oils for like on the exterior of the body, or are you talking about
Both.
internally?
Oh,
Okay.
Essential oils are
are
both.
not the
Yeah.
same thing.
Okay, one at a time. I can hear you both.
Go on, Jill.
I was just going to say, essential oils are not the same thing as cooking oils. They're small molecular structure that you can use that's been
Okay.
steam distilled. And so it works different on the body. It goes into your cellular part of your body to help heal you. But what you're referring to is large molecule oils that
Okay.
are used for cooking. And
So
those
I didn't,
oils will harm your body. And
yeah,
that's why they're telling you to stay
I,
away from all oils,
yeah,
but not
I
those
came
oils.
in late, so I didn't know you guys were talking about essential oils. So,
Essential oils,
okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
You're
And
welcome.
Gina, I put a link. Now, it doesn't talk about essential oils, but I put a link. I don't know if you heard of Common Reason Ministries, but one of the pastors, he's an MD, and just, I mean, he talks about how God made us, it was just wonderful. So if you're interested, you can grab that link and start listening to him. I've started listening. I mean, I just ran across it a couple of weeks ago, and I listen to it all the time now. He is an MD. He also does Sabbath school, and I just love the way he just brings new life to to because he talks about we are holistic people. God cares about us holistically, and people don't realize my mental, my physical, my physical body, even the things that I consume, the foods that I consume, so impact me spiritually, even my spiritual thinking, and we just don't realize that, from a diet perspective, intake perspective, having clarity, having thoughts that can more be in tune to the Holy Spirit. And it's not just the food, it's our entire environment even. Go on, Denise. You have your hand up.
I was actually going to say that, I have been
I'm
cleaning
sorry,
for,
Denise. Can you tell me how you got that hands up icon?
oh, right where the heart is where it says react. They
Mm-hmm.
changed it, sister, so it's new now. It's where the heart react is right next to the right of chat on the bottom where the icons are.
Oh,
Because all I see is the heart. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
click on the arrow just next to the heart.
Okay, thank you very
Okay,
much.
yay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. So I was going to say, a few years ago, I started cleaning differently. I was using a lot of toxics like pine sol and all this other stuff. And the same toxins that are in there, because now we're learning about microplastics and we're learning about all these different things that are in our atmosphere. If that is in cleaning our homes, imagine what we're and those oils can still clean and still leave our homes smelling beautiful. Imagine our temples. So, I mean, this whole essential oil aspect is a lifestyle change. This is not just an oil stuff. This is a lifestyle change because, again, if I bring Clorox, someone brings Clorox into my home and uses it, I lose my mind. I mean, it smells and irritable. I'm coughing. I used an oven cleaner instead of an oil and baking soda the other day in my oven, and I had to have every window of the house open. I mean, it was just horrible. So I do believe, if I'm correct, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sister Jill, that these oils can also be used alongside other natural agents for cleansing and cleaning the home.
yes, of course. Most definitely. You can use them to do every bit of cleaning you have
Yeah.
anywhere.
Let me give an example, Jill. A lot of people during COVID, they were using that disinfectant, right? You know that disinfectant? Well, that disinfectant,
Yes.
Lysol, is so toxic. And what I did is I found there was a recipe, a disinfectant recipe. I put thieves oil in it and I made my own spray. In addition to that, they ran out of a lot of people, the stores ran out of those sprays. I made my own with my essential oils. And I'm going to tell you, anytime I had guests or anything over, I put on my essential oils diffusers, throughout the place. And I never had any problems. Thieves or rosemary. What was the other one, Jill? Thieves, rosemary,
Is that
clove. Yes. So you're on
lemon?
mute. Which one?
No, clove, cinnamon, lemon, rosemary, and eucalyptus are the
Eucalyptus.
5
Yes.
different oils in the
In
thieves
the thieves.
blend.
Yes.
Yeah,
But just
excellent
use the
blend. I did the
rosemary.
same thing. Excuse
Yeah.
me?
And there are times I just use the rosemary too, high in antibiotic. But yes,
Yeah.
the thieves, all of those are very good. So yes, Sister Diane. Yep.
Also, I used a liquid Castile soap
Mm-hmm.
that had, well, I had lavender and I had eucalyptus
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
else.
that's good too.
I
Yes.
don't know what it
Yes.
was.
Yeah. That's
Hmm.
good for your skin
Yeah.
as well. You know, your
Yes.
body. You're eliminating those toxins. Yeah.
Right. And it was one of those that you could water it down with
Mhm.
for dish soap, or you could use it for shampoo, but it really strips your hair for a while.
Yeah.
You'd have
Like
to
Dr.
add
Bronner's, I
something.
think you're talking about.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good soap.
I wanted to go into a little bit more about the food stuff, Jill. Are you about ready to close up? I mean, of course, we can do more next week.
I just wanted to mention also, some different things that lowers your megahertz. Like processed canned food, it has 0 megahertz, which will actually lower your megahertz just by eating canned processed foods. Fresh food, on the other hand, it's 20 to 27 megahertz, but if it's organic, it's even higher. Dried herbs is 15 to 22. And then that just kind of shows you where essential oils come in. With everything being so low, even your dried herbs that you buy, in capsules or whatever, their frequency is lower, a lot lower. So the essential oils have high frequency. And again, I should say, it's the essential oils that are not adulterated, because there's a lot of adulterated essential oils nowadays. So you have to be careful to get a good quality, high quality essential oil that's been raised correctly and everything. And that's why we like the Young Living brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the main thing I wanted to just go over, some of the different food and different things that lower the frequency of the body, and what you can do to raise the frequency, which we've been talking about, even music and just letting yourself have good thoughts, and the oils help, and just everything.
Exercise.
And
Exercise.
exercise, yeah, exercise would raise your frequency too.
Yeah. So this even shows you synergistically, the 8 laws of health are not just foolish laws.
No.
They are everything. They're contributed. Everything that we put in, even our environment, contributes to our health. Everything, our environment, even it's just phenomenal when you think about it. And that's the importance of learning to trust in God, eliminating stress, because of course, with that, we have some natural de-stressors, but the most important is trusting in God, learning to trust in God, and eliminating our bodies, our minds of worry, because worry is going to bring your frequency down. Yeah.
Brings it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So prayer and reading the word,
Yeah.
that right there will bring your frequency up very naturally.
Yeah. Yep. I want to go through a short little presentation. I had a video I wanted to play, and we'll see how much time I have. But I'm going to go into a short presentation. I just wanted to hit up on a couple of things, because I'm trying to just hit up on a couple of things that and again, we're talking about the holistic approach, because this is the 8 laws of health. Oh, Paula, do you have a question?
Yes, I wanted to ask if the frequency can affect sleep. When it's, like, for example, if it's low, if it's connected to insomnia.
I would
Did
imagine that
anybody
it would
do a
be.
research? Anyone found any research regarding that? Your frequency and its link to insomnia?
I'll look it up. I haven't, but I'll try to look up something for next time.
Okay, thank you.
Insomnia.
Yeah, I'm assuming that once the frequency, like I want to know what the connection with the frequency is in regards to sleep. Not so
Yeah.
much rest, but sleep.
Yes, deep sleep.
Well, I think
Yeah,
your
yeah,
frequency would go down if you
Oh,
have lack of sleep.
okay.
But I
So
think
the
she's
higher,
looking for, yeah, what
so the higher
frequency?
the frequency, the better?
No, I think the normalization You want it at 66 at least megahertz.
Okay, okay.
So maybe doing the lavender at night would help. Lavender essential oil in the diffuser.
Yeah.
That would normalize that. The lavender helps the frequency to be at a normal level.
So you
Yes.
can rest
Okay.
better, yes.
Okay, got you.
It's a higher frequency oil.
What
Yeah.
about living in elevated places? Like, mountainous, greenery, mostly, where you could get oxygen easier or cleaner, purer air,
Yes.
That most certainly would contribute to it as well.
I know.
Nature. Yeah.
Mhm.
Giving you a higher frequency just by being in nature.
Yeah. Just a 30-minute walk. I actually was going to get to that. I'm studying doing a study on it's called nature bathing. And that's actually, I was thinking about Colorado, actually getting into nature, and I'll talk about that later. But all of these things will help your frequency. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I love being out in the country and with a lot of trees, and you just breathe in really deep and you just feel better.
Yeah.
You know your frequency is being elevated.
But I think some of the root is getting to the root of the insomnia. And I think that's a good place to start.
Mhm.
And then, we can maybe, Paula, you and I can work together to see what's getting to, to get to the root of it. But even in spite of that, the, again at night, having that diffuser, and I'm gonna tell you, instrumental music, and those are the things to help your body relax. We want to try to, and I don't know, some of the things you may want to check with your doctor on to see what your magnesium levels are. Make sure that your levels in your body are, maybe he can do a test to see where you are with those areas, because you want to make sure, I think, to me, I like to get to the root. I want to know the root of what's causing this so that I can eradicate that, right? Whatever that issue is, because if you don't know what the root is, we may continue to repeat what's causing the illness or what's causing the symptom. I think the first thing we know, let's get to the root of it and see how we can eradicate it. Okay, let me get started on it. I want to do a little bit on health. Let me share my screen. Well, everything is on health that we're doing. So let me get back. I'm going to share my little PowerPoint, but I want to try to save, because I really like this video and I wanted to show it to you. Let me know when you can see my screen. I know it's probably bright. And if so, just try to, maybe if you could take your light down on your computer, because I don't want it too bright for your eyes. And let me start my show.
We can see it. I can see it.
Okay.
So.
All right. Sideshow from the beginning. Okay. All right. Give it a go. Eat the rainbow. There is a reason that God created the rainbow. And this is just a few of foods, but the rainbow is what we should be eating. Diversity is what we should have. Eating the same foods, and I do know that some people eat the same foods over and over again, but we want to ask ourselves the question, what was the purpose of the garden? What is the purpose of the rainbow? There is a purpose for the rainbow. So I want to challenge you, give it a go. Let's eat the rainbow.
That's cute.
I know that was I actually took it from a kiddie's thing.
Yeah, it's okay.
So just to add a little, I thought diversification here, not to make it so serious, but minimal 5 or more fruits and vegetables. We want to intake recreational screen time. We want 2 hours or less recreational screen time, 1 hour of more physical activity, 0 sugary drinks, and more water. And if you notice at the end, keep TV and computer out of the bedrooms. And I would advise that for everyone, because if it's in the bedroom, that's going to be the likelihood to turn it on. I don't care if it's even for a prayer that's on YouTube. The light from the TVs, electronics, all of those things, prevent us from our quality of sleep. And if you want to, Scott Ritzma he has a lot of good episodes that he actually go into detail about the television watching as well as the electronics, so how it stimulates the brain. I think some says you should get away from electronics at least 2 hours prior to bedtime. And here it says no screen time for children the age of 2.
I think I've heard the age of 3 for that.
Oh, could be. Yeah, mine could be
3 and under,
outdated.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
none under 3.
Under 3, yeah. Yeah, I would say. What does the rainbow? So what, when I say rainbow, what does that mean to you? Anyone, everyone. What does a rainbow mean? Just think of the word
Colorful.
rainbow.
Colorful.
Colorful. What does the rainbow in the sky mean? Anyone on the line? This is interaction time. What is the rainbow? When I say rainbow, what does that mean to you?
God's covenant with us.
Oh, yes. That's a good word. Covenant.
Covenant.
Is it possible that eating the rainbow is also a covenant with us? Something to think
Yeah.
about. Yeah,
It's his creation
that's
that goes
right.
into our bodies.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
When the rainbow colors is used in my part of the country, it's classified to be Pride Month. They use, is that a covenant with them and some other entity? Because it's
No.
not seen, it doesn't mean what God created it to mean.
Well,
A
they
covenant can
hijacked it.
only be, this is how I look at it. Even the word of God, it has to be in alignment with the word of God. It has to be. Otherwise, that whatever is attached to covenant, it has to be. I can attach covenant to food because of what was given in Genesis, but I cannot associate that with anything else. It has to, whatever is associated with the rainbow. You know, even in the oh, in the sanctuary, even in the most high place, there's a rainbow. There's a rainbow over that's in, and so anything, and not just the rainbow, anything must have a biblical truths attached to it for it to have a covenant relationship. Does that answer your question, Paula?
Far as the word of God is concerned, yeah, it's fine. I'm good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it has been used. I know they've taken the rainbow, but we know too that Satan will take God's word and just yeah. Okay. Why eat the rainbow? Here is just an example of some of the benefits that we're getting from some of the foods. Different colored fruits and vegetables contain unique phytonutrients, vitamins, minerals, and other beneficial compounds. That's why throughout the week, it's important to get a plethora, the variation. So it is more, eating the rainbow is more than just a catchy phrase. It's a nutritional approach that emphasizes the importance of diversity and colorfulness in our diet. If you look at the green, but look at our vitamins. And we know that different vitamins also have associations with each other. Some vitamins help other vitamins to help our bodies to absorb different nutrients. And so when we're eating the rainbow, we're eating the things that causes our body to absorb the nutrients better and to distribute those so that those nutrients can be distributed throughout our body. Look at the red, the blues and the purples, the yellows, beta carotene, vitamin A, vitamin C, potassium. You look at the white foods. I love coconut. You look at the cauliflower. So if we're looking at the rainbow, we're getting most of our nutrients and our vitamins should be taken from the rainbow. But of course, we know that some may be in situations or circumstances where their body is not absorbing, their digestive system may not be absorbing as much as it should. So the first thing of health is healing the gut. Consuming a variety of food types and colors is representative of a diverse nutrient intake. 14% of Americans consume at least 2 servings of fruit and at least 3 servings of fruit each day. That's a small number. This is a small number. 9.5 consumed. That is of adolescents. That's a very small number. What do the different colors mean? Look at some of the reds. Lycopenes benefits heart disease, prostate cancer, decrease in heart disease. They contribute to decreasing heart disease, prostate cancer. Some of these examples: tomatoes, red peppers. That actually a bell pepper is higher in vitamin C than an entire orange, and you're not getting all the sugar. I just love the red bell peppers. Grapefruit and watermelon are another examples of the red lycopenes. Beta carotene, oh, talk about eye health, boosting the immune system, promoting healthy growth, promotes healthy growth. Examples of the sweet potatoes, the carrots, the pumpkins, the apricots, the cantaloupe. Chlorophyll, ooh. That colon and that liver, the improvement and the detoxification of those organs are so instrumental. Also, chlorophyll quickens the wound healings of our bodies. These are just some of the benefits. It's not all of them. These are just a few examples. Broccoli. I love my leafy greens. I love my leafy greens. And this could be cabbage. These could be turnips. This could be the collard. I love collard greens. And there's nothing to me like a collard green, a taco in a collard green wrap. Sprouts and asparagus are some other examples. Anthocyanins, cyanins. The benefit of these are going to be, I love grapes. I mean, not grapes, but I think, I don't know, maybe I was talking to you, Paula. My very favorite are the berries. They support healthy blood vessels, boost the brain health. Examples of blueberries, plums, cranberries, red potatoes, and radishes. Anthocyanins are what you're going to benefit most of from the blues, the purples, the whites. It reduces inflammation, help lowers cholesterol, and some of the examples are cauliflower, onion, mushrooms, bananas, garlic, turnips, and ginger. One thing I just heard, and I need to, that a red onion actually is more potent than garlic, and I did not realize that. I love onion, and I love it raw. And when I do my veggie burger, I eat the red onion. I just love it. And so studies are showing that it is higher, in a lot of the inflammatory, reducing components or constituencies than even garlic, and antioxidants than even garlic. That just blows me away. Oh, what do 5 servings look like? Everyone should at least have 5 portions of a variety of fruits every day. That's minimal. And an adult portion of fruit or vegetables is 80 grams. Okay, this is what we're talking about. And we're looking at portion size. So when we're talking about portion size, which law of health do we have to be utilizing when we're talking about some fruits?
Temperance.
Temperance, yes. Good, yes. Yeah. Okay, so what does 5 servings of fruit look like? 1 medium size of fruit, 1 cup of raw leafy salad, a half a cup of fresh or not canned, forget the can, no can, I need to take that out, fruit. I only recommend fresh or frozen, and if it's frozen, with nothing added to it. A half a cup of not canned vegetables, of whole real vegetables. And if the vegetables don't have anything added to them, you can even eat more of those. Dried fruit, stick closely when it comes to dried fruit. You want to stick to the recommended serving size of 1/4 cup. Do not exceed that 1/4 cup, because dried fruit is think about it, is very concentrated. It's probably, when a fruit is dried, it's at its highest level of sugar content. When we're talking about beans or peas, we want to stick as closely to our serving size as possible, and it can vary. I've seen some serving sizes to be a cup. I've seen it anywhere from a half a cup to a whole cup, depending upon the beans or peas, and depending upon what you've added to it. When I'm talking about peas, like my peas that edamame, I eat them raw. I eat them raw. When I talk about green peas, I eat them raw with nothing on them. I put them in my salads. So you want to be mindful when we're talking about servings. I'm talking about things in their natural state. So you still want to be mindful. This does not include what you've added, what you're going to add on top of it. How can I measure things serving? How can I measure them? Here's some examples. When I'm talking about nuts, anything that fits in my hand. And when I'm talking about a serving of nut, I mean a serving that day. I see your hand up, Sister Paula.
Yeah, the other slide, the slide before this, are you literally saying that I should just have one of those rectangular things per day?
What was the rectangular thing?
The diagram, you had 6 rectangular shapes with servings with 5 containers in each of them. Let's go back to the slide and I'll show you what I mean. You know, you had containers of not too far back. No,
See
you're
if I
too
can get
far
down
back.
to it.
It's the one before this, the one that you were on.
Is it this one
Go further down, go further down.
or this one? This one.
Wait,
There,
I'm not
yeah.
seeing it.
Okay, this one. Okay. So what I'm saying is one medium-sized fruit would be
Yeah.
that one. Yeah. So yeah, that
This,
would be that one apple. That would be a serving.
what? Wait a minute. So you're saying I can have this one rectangular container with these 5 things for the day?
No, this is when I'm looking at this, I'm talking about a meal.
What?
For
A
me,
fruit
this would be
meal.
a meal.
A
A
fruit
meal,
meal.
that
you mean.
means I don't eat anything else after having something like this?
Until your next time you're ready to eat.
So this could be breakfast, one of these rectangular square.
Yes, I see what you're saying. Yes, it could be breakfast.
So for example, let me be more specific because I'm a little bit confused. You
Okay.
see this one with the strawberries, the blueberries, I think that's dried fruit in the middle, and then you have 2 other things over here.
Right,
Yeah,
right
so
where my cursor is right here.
yes. So
Okay.
I could eat all those 5 things.
Okay, so let me tell you what the serving. So the container is only showing you what a serving size look like. So
Right.
it's not necessarily saying that you would eat this for a meal. Let's say that, yeah, it's just showing you what your serving size would look like. Let's take for breakfast example. You may have, if you're gonna do great, let's look at the blueberries. Let me bring this one. The
Mm-hmm.
blueberries. This is probably as much as you're gonna have for your servings of blueberries.
With the
If you're
hand
gonna have,
right there.
yes, if you're gonna have strawberries, that should probably be your serving size of
Right.
strawberries. Yeah,
Right.
okay. Yeah.
But I think where I'm confused is, can I eat 1 serving of blueberry, 1 serving of strawberries, 1 serving of 1 small apple, 1 serving of pineapples, 1 serving of grapes in one day? Or is it just one meal? Or can you understand where I'm going?
Yes,
Because
I do. No, I think that you can eat so your servings of fruit is going to be throughout the day for your meal. So let's say that you're going to have 5 servings. You can eat so many for breakfast and then the remainder at lunch.
and then dinner.
I would highly recommend not eating fruit at dinner.
Mhm.
That's just me. But if you have to eat it, going to need it.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand the amount that's recommended for us to be healthy and to get the nutrients that we're supposed to get. And as far as I'm understanding it, it's one of these rectangular shapes with those
Not
5 different
necessarily.
servings.
Right.
Okay,
Like for
got it.
instance, yeah. Like this is showing you what a serving size of carrots is, what a serving size of each one of, and now that's a serving size. I could most certainly I think this one is, let me give you a different example. Okay, let's say, Jill, what do you eat for breakfast?
I may have a smoothie with lots of these things in it.
How much of those things do you put in it?
Well, I might put all 5 of them in there. It just depends. I mean, like today I had mango and pineapple and banana. Okay, that's 3 fruits right there, all
Right.
going into the fruit smoothie.
Okay.
If you do a
Okay.
green
Oh,
smoothie, then
and
you've got
each
your
of
vegetables.
And
Okay.
do you put a serving size like one of these for each, for each
Yeah,
of
it
the
would fit
fruits?
into a little container like each one of these are in.
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
hard to see how big these containers are, but if you read
Right.
over here, it says, like one medium-sized piece of fruit. See, where else does it say fresh fruit? Half a cup of, so one of these might equal a half a cup. So it might look bigger to you than what it actually is.
Yeah.
So you're looking
mean,
like
let's-
it's about a quarter of a cup if it's dried, half a cup if it's,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But I
so I
think one
mean,
of the diagrams shows us you can measure it by the fist.
the
The
half a
Yes.
cup, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
okay,
yeah.
that's standard. I
Yeah.
got it. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
You're welcome. And then remember, your fist could be bigger than mine and bigger than a child. So that's the importance when you measure it by your fist. Here it's showing a whole fruit is one fist for this orange here. I don't do orange juice. So if I do juice, I'm going to juice it out of the juicer. I don't, buy. So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. But and I'm gonna tell you, and this is what I recommend for vegetables in their natural state. When it comes to greens, when it comes to the leafy greens and spinach, I don't cap those. I don't cap them at all. For me, you can have as much of those and talk about in their natural state because you're not changing them until you start adding all the other stuff like the oils and the dressings to them. So you
Mhm.
can, but what we're saying here, minimally, this is minimal. These are minimal servings that you should have within a day. You should at least make sure that you're getting five of these, 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day.
Mhm.
Minimal. All right, let's go to the other. Let's look at this picture here. That handful. Now you take this here on the left, the very right, where you see that the mixed vegetables. Does everybody see the mixed vegetables? Where the
No,
hand is.
we're still on the slide that says, how can I quickly measure servings?
Okay, yes. So if you look at the very top, the very first to your left or to my left, where it says fresh, frozen, or canned vegetables,
Yeah.
you see it says a half a fist size. Why would a half a fist size be recommended for these vegetables here? Look at them carefully.
Are they
If you-
mixed vegetables? Are they
Yeah.
steamed? Are they cooked?
And it goes more than steamed, and the raw. It could be, but what I'm looking at is I see carrots, which is a root vegetable, and carrots are going to have a high content of sugar, probably. But the
Okay.
worst thing I see is that corn. I think I see corn in that. Corn is total sugar carb.
Really?
Straight.
Carbs, yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah. And
Oh,
that's why, yeah, and it's just saying be cautious. And
mhm.
again, that doesn't mean that you have to follow these things to the letter. This is just these are just showing you ideal
Where are you going,
recommendations.
Zoe?
Huh?
Oh, no, I'm just talking to the cat.
Because you
Yes.
see the leafy vegetables, it's just showing you this is what a cup of leafy vegetables look like. But when I eat lunch, my whole plate is filled with that first. I don't have
Mhm.
anything on it. That's my whole plate. And then I add everything else. The dried fruit, never go over a fourth a cup for your dried fruit or even your handful of nuts. And it indicates here, your or whatever you can put in your hand. Let's look at this slide here. Look at that apple. It says 2 servings. The apple that has the least amount of sugar are the green apples. Now, the thing I would recommend buy this apple, I would really consider that apple 1 serving, providing you eat that apple not unpeeled. Does that make sense? You're
Yes.
eating the whole, yeah.
Yeah, because then you have the fiber from the skin.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, and the other nutrients. That second, I would advise don't even do that.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Yeah.
What?
But
What's
what
wrong
is it
with
on?
peanut
Look,
butter?
so it's not just, but let's break it down. First of all, what type of bread is it on?
It looks like white bread.
Okay. There are some alternatives to that bread.
Right.
And if you had and let me just break it down. Let me go into detail. If that was a jelly that either I made myself or that I can get from Whole Foods and natural grocers that's nothing but fruit, and they've used the pectin from the fruit for the gelling, but to gel it. So there are some, and then that peanut butter. If you want to eat peanut butter, make sure that you're eating something that just says peanut butter, that it doesn't have a whole list of things that you don't see. Make sure it says non-genetically modified.
Mm-hmm.
Peanut butter, it can be the other thing about peanuts and peanut butter, peanuts can be very hard on the digestive system. So it is recommended autoimmune disease, any diseases to do with the digestive system, Crohn's, IBS, any of those, it is recommended. If you eat that to maybe 1 tablespoon on that sandwich or something, but you really want to watch it. If you have any type, and if you have any type of chronic digestive disease, you don't even want to do peanut butter at all. So that's why I have to make some delineations there.
Oh, you know that peanut butter and that apple would be great.
Yeah, you could put some on an apple slices. Yeah, that would be a healthy alternative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. All right.
Well, what was in the other thing that you skipped just now over there? 4 servings.
You know what? That looks like some
Tofu stuff.
I don't do tofu. Well,
yeah, I don't.
This could be. It doesn't necessarily. I don't know what it is. I may need to change. I see beans, but I was thinking it's a vegetable stew or vegetable chili. You can make a vegetable chili with I see stewed tomatoes.
Yeah.
I see beans, yeah. And then I see the cilantro and that's not cheese. I think I don't think that's not cheese. It looks like
it could be squash.
Acorn squash. Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. And if all those things were in it, that would be very nutritious. The beans, the various beans, legumes, lentils in it, that would be very, yeah. I make a stew that is, it's just so good. Yeah. And that's just 4 servings. Again, when you're talking about servings, when you know how much you can eat, a lot of this is dependent upon whether you do 3 meals a day or whether you do 2 meals a day. A lot of us are doing 2 meals a day. And so take all of those things into consideration when you're talking about servings as well. Because if you're only doing 2 meals a day, then you want to try to get as much of it as you can in those 2 servings. And like I said, some of the other things you talk about fruit, bell peppers are fruit, avocados are fruit. So fruit is not just, the tomatoes are a fruit. Like here, those tomatoes, that's a fruit. I put red and yellow peppers when I make my stew. Those are fruit servings too. All of those contribute to fruits. I think that's one more. I just want to show you one more thing. Okay, just tips. Put at least 1 produce item of each color on your shopping list each week. The other thing, buy seasonal. Do not utilize this can. I need to update this thing. I don't do. This may have been what was used for harvesters, but make sure you're buying your foods during the seasonal periods. If not, again, I said frozen. That's what I recommend. Never do canned. Canned beans are probably okay, but you can buy packaged beans. So that's so much, I think, less expensive. So you want to buy foods in season. Serve up food pictures. Let your children have. You ought to have kiddos. But even with my kiddos, and I teach parents that have kids, make your food look beautiful. I create when I would go to potluck, I created a big salad, and this is at my local church. I don't create that big salad anymore because I created a salad that was going to feed everybody that stayed for potluck mostly. The very salad itself was a rainbow. The salad was so beautiful that it was just appetizing, that people just naturally wanted it because it was so beautiful. So when you're making your food, make sure that it has life in it. You want to retain the colors of your food because the more is more appetizing. And it also has something to do with your senses. God gave us senses. And so let it appeal to your senses, all of the various colors. When I use the reds, the blues in my salad to get it that color, I use red and I use red and yellow peppers, and I would also carrots Oh, beets. All you have, and whole beets. I just shred whole beets and put it in there. The red onions. Oh, it was just beautiful. I had the various colors of greens, and then I'd add some red cabbage. I would put red cabbage in it, and then I mean just your edamame frozen. I actually would buy the frozen edamame. The heart organic, and then I let it thaw, or I run a little warm water over it. But I did not cook it. I would throw some of that in there. Oh, the other thing is zucchini. You know how you could take one of those spirals, take a spiral and spiral zucchini. All of those things are beautiful to make your salad, your foods look good. Go on, Paula.
The beets, are they all year round?
Beets, I can get them all year round, but I don't know. I have to
Oh,
look that up. But
okay.
they're in the grocery store all year round. Do you know,
Mhm.
Jill, about the beets?
Yeah, I think they are all year
And
round.
so you grate
They're root
it on
vegetables.
your salad?
Yes, I buy them raw.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Mm,
grate them on my
Mhm.
salad. Yes,
okay. Good food for thought.
they're good for juicing.
I
They're good,
know
especially.
in the island, I'm from Jamaica, right? So
Okay.
what they do is we use it in a drink.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like it. So
Mhm.
what I might try now is grating it, like, in
Yes.
my country they put it with carrot. So you would have
Yes.
a beet carrot juice with some
Oh,
lemon
yeah.
or ginger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
That's how
love
they
that.
drink it in my, yeah, very
I've done
expensive.
that, Paula.
Huh?
I've done that. I've done the ginger, the
Okay.
carrots, and the beets, and I love it.
Yeah, it's really, really good in that sense, but just by itself, I don't like it.
Yeah, yeah,
And I don't like carrots either, so
yeah. Yeah.
there goes
Okay.
my struggle.
Yeah. The shredded carrots, so you can get raw and shred them. I also, if you want to cook them, you can steam them lightly as well. I eat cooked beets as well. I do both because I love beets. Yeah.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm a beet lover.
It's good for circulation.
Yes, it is. I was raised on a farm. I grew up on a farm. So I have one more video. If you all just give me a few more minutes. I wanted to share this video with you because I felt like it had a lot of helpful tidbits I wanted to give you. And just in case, let's see, I think everybody's on. Let me just share this. Let me do one more share. Um, and this is, and I'll talk about this when we get done. So let's go. And where is my video? Understanding. Da, 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 da. Let me go depress this, and let me just go make sure I have it up so that it is right here. I want to share this pane. Yep. So go back to Zoom. This is one of the doctors I follow, and you'll see why. I follow several doctors, and especially, and from a functional health perspective, he's a functional health doctor. So let me just share this video real quickly with you. And can you hear it? First of all, can you hear that?
It's not playing.
Can
Okay,
you hear
Just
it now?
watching
I
him.
can't hear it. It's playing now, but I didn't hear him. Do it again, please. No,
Did you say you don't hear it?
I see him, but I don't hear it.
Okay, so let me go
Mhm.
back in. Let me do a
I
share.
was just watching a video of his the other day.
Where are you? Okay, now put the sound on. Sorry, I didn't have my
Yeah.
sound on.
With
Oh yeah,
quinoa rice.
I wanted.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you.
Rice, or is it just another diet trend? Stay with me
Can you hear
because
him
I'm
now?
going to break it down for you, the health benefits of quinoa and rice, and which is a better grain to use for your health benefits. And in the end, I'm going to share with you a bonus tip of how to cook quinoa and rice properly so you get the maximum health benefits. Hi, I'm Dr. Anshul Gupta, a board certified family physician from US with advanced training in functional medicine. There are several people who are looking for a healthier grain option, especially which are gluten free and that can help them improve their health. Recently, quinoa has exploded in popularity, but rice has been used for centuries. So, which is a better and healthier grain in the current scenario? So, today I am going to share with you different scientific studies which have compared both of the grains on their protein content, their fiber content, their digestibility, their blood sugar impact, their impact on inflammation, as well as on weight loss. And stay till the end because I'm going to share with you the best way to cook quinoa and rice to maximize their benefits. So let's first discuss about the protein content in quinoa and rice. So quinoa is a complete protein. That means it has all the 9 essential amino acids which is needed by your body to function better. Now it is very rare, especially for a plant-based foods, to have all the essential amino acids. So that is a very big advantage of quinoa over here. In terms of rice, the white rice has the least amount of protein. Brown rice has little bit more protein as compared to the white rice, but it is not a complete protein. It lacks an essential amino acid called lysine. So that's a disadvantage of using rice as your protein source because it is not a complete protein. A 2015 study which was published in Journal of Food Science and Nutrition found that quinoa provides 25 to 50% more protein than rice. So definitely if you are a vegan or a vegetarian and you want to increase your protein content in the diet, quinoa is a clear winner over here. The second comparison is in terms of your heart health and inflammation levels in your body. Quinoa contains high amount of anti-inflammatory polyphenols and antioxidants, which can help to reduce inflammation in the body. Rice also contains some polyphenols, but at a lesser quantity as compared to quinoa. So if you do have inflammation in your body, then again quinoa can help you to lower inflammation as compared to rice. A study published in Cardiovascular Research in 2020 found that quinoa consumption can lower your LDL cholesterol and can also improve your heart health more effectively as compared to rice. The third comparison is that which is easier to digest and is good for your gut health. So it has been shown that quinoa is little bit more difficult to digest in your gut as compared to rice. So if you do have sensitive stomach, which is causing you a lot of bloating, and if you are intolerant to several foods, then rice is easier to digest and that might be a preferred grain. The next comparison is that if you're trying to lose weight, which of the grain can be useful for you? Now, quinoa has a lower glycemic index. What that means is that it releases energy slowly. So it means that it keeps your blood sugar stable for a longer amount of time. While rice, especially white rice, has a very high glycemic index, which causes sugar spikes. And that sugar spikes are not going to let you to lose weight. Brown rice has a medium glycemic index. Still, it will not help you to lose weight. For comparison's sakes, quinoa's glycemic index is 53, while brown rice glycemic index is 68 and white rice glycemic index is 73. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that replacing white rice with quinoa was able to significantly improve blood sugar control, and people were also able to lose weight during this time. So for weight loss purposes and blood sugar control purposes, quinoa is a better choice. The next comparison is that which one has higher amount of anti-nutrients or lectin content. What is lectin? Lectin is an anti-nutrient which for some people can cause inflammation in their body, especially if you have autoimmune diseases. It can also increase your chances of getting something called leaky gut. It was shown that quinoa has high amount of lectins as well as it has something called saponins, which combined with lectin can cause leaky gut issues in some sensitive people. In that aspect, white rice has the least amount of lectins in it. But the good part is that if you cook quinoa properly, then you can reduce this lectin content to almost negligible. And that is what I'm going to discuss at the end of the video. The last comparison is between the micronutrients and the antioxidant levels in quinoa and rice. So quinoa is packed with high amount of iron, magnesium, zinc and B vitamins. These are all essential for energy production as well as your thyroid hormone production. The iron content in quinoa is around 1.5 milligram, which is significantly higher than white rice, which is only 0.2 milligrams. So in terms of vitamin and mineral content, quinoa definitely has higher amount of different vitamins and minerals. So now the question arises, which is healthier, quinoa or rice? So if you want to lose weight, if you want to have more stable energy with more protein, as well as you want maximum nutrients for your thyroid, then quinoa is a clear winner over here. But if you are that person whose gut is very sensitive and you cannot digest or react to several foods, then white rice is a good option for you because that is tolerated in your gut better than quinoa. So that's the final verdict. Quinoa is definitely healthier as compared to the rice, but in certain circumstances, rice might be better tolerated. But how to cook this quinoa and rice so you can lower the lectin content and actually can make it more healthier for you? So to cook quinoa and rice, both of them needs to be soaked a minimum of 1 hour before they are cooked. When you are soaking them for 1 hour, research studies shows that can reduce the lectin content and saponin content by 70 to 80%. Plus, soaking them also improves the digestibility of quinoa for your gut. And then make sure you throw away that water. And when you are cooking your rice or quinoa, try to pressure cook them because again that lowers down the lectin content and also improve the digestibility of quinoa and rice. So I hope I help you to make a decision which one is a healthier grain for you, quinoa or rice. Let me know in the comment section which one is your preferred grain and which are you going to use.
I like all of his videos. Okay, so I think they provided a lot of good information. One of the things that the lectin and saponin is not just in quinoa. That's why I would recommend anyone, if you're doing beans, legumes, any of those things, buy them in a package and soak them. That is so important. Soaking is very, very important. And I even soak mine overnight. You know, my rice, I don't necessarily soak the rice overnight when I eat rice. I don't eat rice on a daily basis, but I eat it, you know, occasionally. And I prefer the wild rice. Um, the wild rice, I'll do black rice and the red rice at times as well too. But again, rice is more gentle on your stomach, on your digestive system. But as far as the lectins, which can be very serious, soaking is very instrumental. And I soak my foods overnight. I soak my beans overnight. I soak my legumes overnight, all of those. And I'm gonna tell you, you can see he just indicated how much you're eliminating, I mean, up to 60 to 70%, you're reducing, eliminating the lectins out of it. That is very good. Are there any questions, any comments anyone want to make? What do you prefer? Does anybody eat quinoa other than me?
I do. I don't get
Okay.
to make it very often, but I do. I
Yeah.
used to mix it with brown rice.
Yeah,
I don't know, it just seems more filling that way, but
yeah,
yeah, I really like it.
yeah.
Aren't they different types?
Yes. Yes. So I get what's called a tricolor quinoa. So there's black, red, and I don't know if it would be considered white or yellow.
Yeah.
It looks more yellow, I guess.
Yeah. I love mixing
And
it. Sometimes I mix it with the black rice too. I love the black, what they call the black rice, there's a name for it, but I get it in both in the whole, but I
in,
mix my quinoa.
in
So, you
some
know,
places it's called forbidden rice.
yeah, that's what, why is it forbidden?
Because it used to be for royalty only
Yeah.
in Asian countries, and if you were caught with it and you weren't one of the people like growing it for the royal families, then you could be executed.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Ooh, couscous. I love couscous. I haven't had that in a while.
Oh, yes. Yes. Quinoa and couscous is good. Yeah, yeah. And like I think like Gina said, you can blend the two together. You know, if you want quinoa, just add it to couscous or add it to rice or whatever. Because are you, Gina, are you a vegan or vegetarian?
I will say vegan-ish.
Okay.
So
What is the
we
difference?
tend to be vegan, but if I'm at my daughter's or my sister's
Yeah.
house, I eat whatever clean food that they have.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I get you.
What's the difference between the two?
Vegans do not do animal products at all.
Okay.
But Sister White doesn't recommend that because I was doing vegan as well. But then I started reading her book, and it's okay to have eggs. I mean, I buy everything free range, or I like the place where I buy my eggs. They have a Q bar where it shows the chickens free range eating like what chickens are supposed to eat. You know what I mean? So I'm very careful where I buy it, but because I'm buying the healthy stuff, it's expensive, so I don't eat it as often.
Yeah.
Right. And we occasionally have an egg also.
Yeah.
Not very often at all.
Yeah. If you do eat eggs, and I'm not promoting vegan over vegetarian. If you do eat eggs, that's the only thing. If you're going to eat any dairy, I would highly recommend that it's as kosher can be. And when I say kosher, is that that doesn't have to do just the great, that's even how they slaughter, how they drain I mean, all of how they tend and take care of their livestock and their animals. And the only thing about a lot of in America, a lot of the farmers are feeding their animals grains, they're feeding their animals grains and, I would just say that, be very, and then I think you were saying, Sister Denise, that you make sure that you're getting it from chickens that are pasture raised and they're eating naturally.
Eating
Those are the,
naturally, free range. Um,
Yeah, so
you
mine
just
even, my
they
package
cook it
even
in.
says fed non-GMO.
Non-GMO.
absolutely.
You probably get the same ones I get,
Oh
Sister
Yeah,
yeah,
Gina.
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And the yolks are so yellow. It's
Yes.
amazing. You can actually taste the difference of this egg compared to if you just buy the normal eggs.
yeah, yeah. And
Well,
that's the reason.
the original diet was fruits, grains, seeds, and nuts.
But aren't we
That's the
allowed to eat eggs
healthiest.
if we have to? I mean, I could have sworn I saw that in the book. Did I just
You can
make
eat
that
whatever
up?
you want.
No, no, no. I want to follow the the way that the 8 laws of health and the way that we are taught nutrition. What I was noticing though is that I was starting to lack protein because I am not a big legume eater. Other than lentils, split peas, that's and chickpeas, that's it. Black beans and all those others, I can't eat them. Kidney beans, red beans, I just don't eat those at all. So
Yeah.
I found myself lacking in protein. That was my challenge.
Yeah. And I was going to say that was when she ate eggs, and she also prescribed to most people it was for the protein. And I think there was some illness. There was something I read where someone, I can't remember the illness. I have to go back and read it. And she told them you need to add eggs to your diet. And so, I mean, the thing is this, um, quinoa was I was able to find quinoa as a good, it said quinoa is a complete protein. You can get a complete protein with being a vegan. You just have to eat multiple things together, or they don't have to be together. Just making sure you're getting enough of your seeds, your legumes, as well as like your rice and or your grain products. You have to be able you in order to get complete proteins, you have to eat all of those things. I used to think that you have to eat them all in a day, and then just recently I learned that you don't, as long as you get them all within that week. And so the protein is important being a vegan because your bone health I mean, protein is very essential to a lot of things. So you do want to make sure that you're getting, if you are, whether you're vegan or non-vegan, you want to make sure that you're getting the nutrients that you need for bone health and for muscles, those type of things. And but I love quinoa. So that was, I love quinoa. And I loved it when I found that it was a complete protein. In fact, in some instances, quinoa is not even promoted as a grain. Some said that quinoa is a seed. So yeah, so
That's
there
right.
again, but yeah, but again, I do tell people, if you want to, if you're gonna do, and this is why, um, animal products, if you all know and you start following, our animal products are so, I mean, and I think someone said what they're being fed is horrible. And so because some of them are feeding genetically modified stuff, what they're being fed, the hormones they're putting in them, the antibiotics they're putting in them to keep them well. You know, they're not using things like natural herbs as antibiotics because there are natural farmers. I do know natural farmers that are using, I think it's rosemary, thyme, maybe garlic, some sort of mixture that they give their animals. And so you have to really be careful. And there are a lot of farmers that do not believe in that. And you know, they're giving their animals all kinds of stuff. So that's the reason you want to make sure that you're getting a good, reliable source if you do have to have eggs, you know, for protein. And but you know, the thing is, and then again, eat it in moderation. But you have to, you know, our animal, you know, yeah, we're gonna have to be careful about everything nowadays, even our farm foods, our produce. We have to be very watchful over our produce, how it's grown, who's growing it, because you even reading your labels, you're going to have to start being very intentional because they have a way of hiding it if you're not reading your labels. That's why I try to go over, you know, labels. Make sure you see, you got to, even if it's vegetables, even if it's in the produce, you want to make sure that it is non-genetically modified because there are all types of things that's being reproduced right now. And you want to make sure, and you can only tell by what the label says. And for some things, there are numbers on them. So you have to understand those numbers even. And if you're in a store with your phone, you can look it up. Maybe you don't know what that number means.
I do have one question because GMO, when I was a kid growing up, and my parents lived in the Caribbean too, I've noticed that there are fruits that are grafted. Like, you know, like I love a fruit that I don't know if it's GMO or not. I don't think so because I get it from the fresh market. But it's grafted with orange and grapefruit. Now that's not GMO. That's just a graft of a tree that was produced naturally. Is that considered I mean, this whole GMO thing. I mean, back in the olden days, they used to graft stuff together, take two things and graft it naturally. Is that cross-pollination kind of, again, that I'm learning about this thing now. So is that different?
I
Because they
think
taste
what you're
really
talking
good.
about is
You
right.
pick
It's like
them up.
cross-pollination. Yeah, I think that you're right, Denise. In fact, some used to say, you know, when that's how Noah got the grapes and he crossed. That's how they came up because grape supposedly was not a part of the original garden. And there are some other fruits that were not a part of the original garden as well.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, there's some, but you know, it will say, you know, I will ask if you don't know, is this genetically modified? They should be able to tell you, you know, and a lot of our foods, a lot of them are genetically modified. And that's why you really have to be intentional on, you know, you can't just, oh, this is fresh produce and think no, you really have to start, and it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. So that's why, you know, you have to really be intentional in reading your labels and understanding them. Did you have a question, Paula?
I wanted to know if you were gonna do another session on the oils or how can we get the oils? Are you gonna give us more info, Jill, on them before you tell us how to get them?
Well, I mean, we did talk a little bit about that in one of the sessions, but we can do that in the next session, have time if Jackie wants to.
Oh yeah, we can talk more about oils, and I can give you the link to go get the oils. Paula, I can send you a link where you can order them, or I could order, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Especially there was one that you said you were gonna try to tell me the name of it
Oh,
regarding
progestins.
sleep
I need to
and
get
all
that out
this.
to
I
you.
hope you
Did you
remember.
send me
Yeah.
did you send me your address? Because I'm gonna send you the one for hormones, the progestins.
Oh, I love that one. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I have some extra ones, and I told her I was gonna send her that. So send me your you can text it to me on my phone number, or send an email, Paula, and I'll get that in the mail to you this week.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Anything else anybody want to add? Did you have anything else to add?
I
Or
did
did you want to
say-
have, did you have something to say
Actually,
about
I
eggs
had-
too?
I had one thing I wanted to share. I get these spices from Morton and Bassett,
Mm-hmm.
and they are all natural, salt-free, gluten-free, non-GMO, preservative-free, no MSG, and non-irradiated.
Good.
And I think that these ones were like from Safeway. So
Huh.
Does Walmart carry them, Jana?
what was that?
Does Walmart carry them?
They might. I'm not sure. I would check it out. But it's
Yeah.
but Morton and Bassett.
Good deal. Did you have something else to say about eggs, Jill?
Well, I was just going to mention, you also have to be concerned about how much acidic food that you eat, and meat and dairy is very acid forming. We do want to have alkaline foods in our body, predominantly, not all, but mostly. Some foods are not alkaline either, but that's one thing with meat and dairy is and the eggs is that it's more acidic for the body. And acid
Dairy
does
is
cause
very
disease.
acidic. Yeah.
And it causes disease, yes.
Yeah.
So just something to think about.
What would you
If you
recommend?
have to
if
do
you
it,
didn't
do it
have
in
to do it?
moderation. That would be a moderation. If
Yeah,
you
but
have
what
to
would
do
you recommend if you don't, if you can't? And again, I don't probably have enough recipes of legumes to, like I'm thinking maybe I could take some black beans and make a black bean burger because I usually make mushroom burgers, but I make it with the leaves now, so I'm trying to come up with different things that I can, I mean, thank God I can tolerate mushrooms because I mean, I have mushroomed it up. But it's until you can see a nutritionist, it's really hard. Like I'm trying to look at my blood work from before, and on my physical, I want to get all my blood work done again because I'm not sure what I'm lacking, but I can feel, and especially since I had that hip surgery and I have osteoporosis and I have an autoimmune, I could feel there were times where I'm like, okay, my body's lacking protein. I need to eat something that has protein in it, and I will feel the difference. So is there anything else that you can recommend?
Let me ask you this. Are you a vegan or are you a vegetarian, Denise?
I am mainly vegan, but I am eating eggs. I don't do butter. I don't do cheese. It doesn't work for me. But the eggs, I've noticed
Okay.
that, if I'm feeling a little I'll have the eggs. I don't trust the butter unless I can churn it myself, which I learned you can do. You could buy a churner, but I don't do butter and I don't do anything else product wise, but I do a lot of olive oil, but I do cold pressed olive oil or pure avocado oil.
So did you say you're a vegan or so you do eggs?
Yes, but I don't do them
Okay.
all the time. I just do them when I feel like my body's like blah.
Okay.
Like for some reason I could tell like
Eating
okay, I need
protein.
to eat. I try to do smoothies, the plant-based smoothies, but I guess I ate meat for so long and my body just loved it. I mean, my
Okay,
body's
so
like,
let me
what's
ask you
going on?
this. How long have you been a vegan?
Since after the 10 days of prayer.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
now I understand.
Yeah.
And let me just share this with you. And this is just to share. We're all different people. And some people, I mean, we can have some have high tolerances. You know, um, you do need your blood work. You want to make sure that you know what your vitamin D level is. You want to make sure your vitamin Bs are where they need to be. All vegans, if you're going to be a vegan, it is B12. I take the B complex, and you can get it in vegan form. They have good vegan form B complexes I get from natural grocers, and a D3. I do the D3. I want the whole thing, and I don't want to have to my vitamin D. So those are going to be required. Those are the only two vitamins, not vitamin. Those are products that I know that you are going to need. So make sure that if you're getting ready to be a vegan, but again, the other thing is I did not just become this overnight. It was a progression. And actually my body naturally did it when it came to a lot of those things. And you have to be mindful of that because sometimes if you do things too fast, especially if you are a meat eater, you can do it too fast.
Yeah, I was a
Just
heavy
like with
user.
anything, you have to wean yourself off of it so that your body can naturally assimilate into the new transition. Does that make sense? Are
Yes,
you there?
because that may
Okay.
yes, because
Okay.
that may be
Okay.
why I crave not crave eggs, but sometimes my body tells me. I mean, everything else was easy. Like I gave up chicken and all that other stuff. It was like no big deal. And drinking
Mhm.
water, and I bought a
Okay.
Berkey for the water thing where I don't buy bottled water anymore. I mean, everything else was easy. It's just once in a and if I want ice cream, believe it or not, there are ways that you can eat plant-based ice cream. You can have a scoop or two of plant-based ice cream, and it's not terrible. But that sometimes I feel I don't know how I just know like eat an egg. Like and it doesn't happen all the time, but it's like
Uh-huh.
eat an egg.
With the
So
quinoa, like I said, you get the quinoa, you have a complete protein with quinoa. And then I think that if like wild rice, black, if you can, those have higher protein contents. Artichokes, I can get you a list of things that are higher in protein content.
I think that would be helpful for people in the transition arena because that is I mean, I didn't know quinoa was a whole protein. Otherwise, I'd probably be incorporating more quinoa into my diet. In the mornings, all I have is I have a mango, I have two avocados, I have an orange, and I have, I might have some spinach or I might have potatoes that I've made with lemon and garlic on it, pure lemon, pure garlic. And that's what I
Did
have
you
for
say
breakfast.
potatoes?
Yeah, I like potatoes. I like potatoes.
Nothing wrong with potatoes, but how about is it possible to swap out the potatoes for the quinoa or add the quinoa, add a little potatoes to the quinoa for breakfast?
But it's those little potatoes. I buy the small ones, not the big potatoes. I have like two or three of those. Those mini potatoes. Come on, Sister Jackie. You gotta give me
Sweet
the
potatoes.
potato.
I'm just trying to get more
Aren't they from the
protein.
earth? Aren't they natural? I bake them.
Hey,
I bake
I
them.
live in Washington now, but I was raised in Idaho.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm like, come
Yeah, but
on with the
I prefer
potato.
yams. I prefer yams to white potatoes. I don't care for white potatoes
Why
that
do
much.
yellow potatoes? Is
Yeah,
that
I
because
like
Oh, see, I love sweet potatoes. Yeah.
yeah,
Sweet
me too.
potatoes,
I
yeah.
love sweet potatoes. Sweet
Mhm.
potatoes are good sweet potatoes are actually good in the quinoa. I'm trying to get more protein.
Mhm.
So some of the
Black
things to
beans.
eliminate,
Mhm.
yeah, some of the things to eliminate food cravings. And this is what I had to go through too at one particular time. And actually spinach, avocados. If you could start getting spinach and avocados
I
in
eat
your diet,
avocado
you have to,
every morning.
Kale.
I
huh?
pay $1.35 every day because I have two avocados every single morning. That's how I start my day.
2 in the morning.
Yeah, am I supposed to have it in the afternoon? I have two in the morning.
You may want to have one in the morning or in one in the afternoon, or maybe if that
Oh,
works,
okay.
if it works. Okay, so
Okay. All right.
add a little spinach and then maybe quinoa, because quinoa you're going to get a little bit more protein. And then I was trying to think if there's others. So I think that if you're having cravings, what you want to do is add more nutrient. Cravings is typically indicative of a nutrient deficient. I'm not saying that you're nutrient deficient in anything,
Probably am.
but
I
I'm
feel a little weaker sometimes. I mean, don't get me wrong, my skin is fantastic. My hair is like silk. My eyes are clear. I mean, my I've taken like 5 years off myself, right? Because I could feel the difference. I sleep better. I use the bathroom better. I mean, just everything. It's just once in a blue moon, I'm like, I gotta have an egg. I feel like I need an egg right now.
all right. Is there anything else you can recommend for protein and to eliminate cravings, Jill?
Well, I haven't heard too much about nuts and seeds, but talking mostly about beans. Of course, you can always, add the beans to quinoa and make a really um, power-packed
Salad.
protein
Yeah.
mix. Yeah, and there's
Hmm.
even kale. Kale is high in protein.
I like
Yep.
kale. I put
Yep.
kale in my salad. I do kale a lot and I
Yeah.
love spinach and garlic. I'll just crush up the garlic with my and put it in the spinach and sit there and just eat a bowl of spinach. I mean, I love
Nut
spinach.
butters, raw nut butters, you can do those too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The raw nut
I
butter.
do
I
do
Yeah.
like the raw sesame
I do
seeds.
cashews and I do walnuts. And I bought steel oats the other day. Thank you, Sister Jackie, for helping me with that when I sent you the nutrition. First time ever. And I'm doing that with walnuts because I heard walnuts are really good.
Mhm.
I have
Oh, yeah.
walnuts.
Yeah, the raw nuts are important.
Yeah.
So
Raw
I'm
walnuts-
seeds, nuts,
but,
and
you know, you
the
don't know where to go. And most nutritionists I've looked up to even go to nutritionists, they're not Adventists. So, you know, and I've noticed that not every vegan is vegan. They're eating stuff fried in different ways, but they claim to be vegan. They're not clean, raw, whole food, plant-based vegan. You know, I'm learning all these different terms.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they shouldn't have to, nutrition shouldn't have to be, but they should understand the requirements from a nutritional perspective for a vegan, if they're nutritionists. You know what I mean?
But do you have one that you could recommend that's
I don't need
online
a
that
nutritionist.
you?
I am a nutritionist. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
you know,
I did not know you were a nutritionist. Well, then I can
when
just
it,
use you. Then I could just hire you. What am I going to somebody else for? And just send you my
no, you
book?
can't because I don't have time.
Really, Sister Jackie? You gonna do that? Really?
No, and I hate, I'm not, if you can find the right, I can't recommend, I think that Pastor said someone just joined the church that is a nutritionist. She's gonna be joining their health team. I know there's, but I don't, and so you may want to, check in there, but I don't go to a nutritionist. I don't need a nutritionist because what I
Because you are
find,
one.
and I find this that my standards are a lot higher than theirs. So
And that's
I
why I
mean,
want you. I'm gonna wait. That's okay.
Mhm.
that's just how I felt.
The
I'm not gonna.
Bible's your nutritionist.
What'd you
What's
say,
that?
Jill?
The Bible's your nutritionist.
Yeah,
Genesis 1:29.
yeah,
Mm.
But you
Yeah, I'm
do
gonna
need
wait.
to
I'm waiting for
understand.
Sister Jackie.
You do need to understand how to put your foods together,
Don't.
how to eat the foods to get the nutrition that you want, that you need. So you do need to understand you need to understand your nutritional requirements and what the input, what the intake needs to be for you to reach those requirements.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. You do
Yep,
need
it
to
does. I'm
understand.
sure you're
Yeah.
going to get there in the teaching as we go on each week, but again, that is the biggest part because it's like, it's a whole big piece missing. Wait, no chicken, no steak. Wait, no fish. No, okay, what do I cook? What do I eat? Oh, potatoes. Okay, I'm going to have some potatoes. I'll have that with some beans. Oh, so you're trying to it's juggling, right? It's what do you cook?
Yeah. And you're right. And I'm gonna say this for a lot of people, that is the problem. And that's a wrong approach because that's why so many Adventists end up putting on a lot of weight. Because they're eating a lot of, even though they're complex carbs, they're eating too many of the wrong foods and they put on a lot of weight.
Right, temperance. And I noticed that too, because what I was doing, I was like, oh, in the beginning, I was losing all the weight and everything else. And then I love nuts. And I would
Yeah.
sit there and I would go through like a bowl of nuts. And I'm like, what are you doing? The recommended amount is, take a spoonful or take a few
A
spoonfuls, a
handful?
couple of tablespoons, a fist, and eat those. And when it's done, stop, Denise. But, I'm like, oh, well, I'm not eating meat. I'm not eating candy. I'm not eating the other stuff. So let me just eat the nuts. It's from the earth. It's God's. So you start making up these thoughts in your head.
One of the things I can do, we want to schedule some time. I was just joking. You want to schedule some time with me? You can send me an appointment and what I like to do is get with you and work on, I can help you work on putting together a meal plan so that you are getting in a healthy way the nutrition that you need in order to maintain as you're transitioning. Does that make sense?
Looking for. I'm going to go make an appointment to get my blood work done, and I'm letting my doctor know I want all my blood work done, everything.
Yes.
So that way I'll have all the Quest lab results, and that way I would like to show it to you so that way I could plan. I mean, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it the right way. I don't think it's smart to do it now, but I want to get that blood work. I can show you my old blood work when I was eating meat, you know what I mean? And so that way you can compare the differences and tell me as a vegan and vegetarian what's what. I could do
Yeah.
that because I
Yeah.
have all my blood work because I had to have it for my surgery.
How old is your blood work?
I had it for my surgery, so it was in September of last year.
Oh yeah, it needs more recent then. I thought maybe it was like in the last 90 days, but
No,
yeah, more
I'm planning on
recent.
going to, yeah, I'll have that done probably this week. So I'll probably have it done this week. So by next week, I'll probably have the results in.
Yeah. The only thing I would suggest right now, making sure you're getting your appropriate amount of protein, and and that's why we need to get together, because we'll check. That's going to be based upon your weight, some other things. So that's what that. So when you get with me, you want to have enough time
I'm not
to.
sharing my weight with on in this. You mean privately, right?
No, that's why you coming. Yeah, that's why I'll do a
Oh,
personal
okay.
one-on-one with
I'm
you,
not sharing
because
my
we're going to
weight.
have to look at we're going to have to look at some parameters, and then from those parameters, we'll indicate how much your protein intake for that day need. Things like that. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of personal information we're going to have to take in order for
Okay.
you to. Yeah, and then
And
from
you can
that.
use me as your guinea pig, also, Sister
Okay.
Jackie, if you know what I
All
mean.
right.
If you want to use that as we go along to share or in your videos, whatever, use me as your guinea pig.
Oh, thank
I
you.
don't
That
care.
would be wonderful, Denise. Yes.
Use me as your
I didn't
model.
even
I'm
think about
fine.
that. Thank you.
I'm fine
Okay,
with that.
thank you. Yeah. All right, good. So I am just, go to, you can go to Google, and Thursday evenings are a good time. Sundays are a good time. Or, or you can reach out to me, send me a text and say, I'm available this time. Can it work? And we can do multiple sessions. We don't have to do it all in one session, but we will need to get your history first, your weight, your height, and a lot of those things, so if, and then I'll collect that, and then then we'll start making determinations from that. But yes, the blood work from your doctor is very instrumental. But before we start, I need to get your H&P. And we talk to that, and we'll get going. So yeah, thank you. That would be wonderful. And then we can use it. Oh, I don't want you to feel like I'm using you though, but thank you.
You're not. You're not.
Okay.
I'm
All
fine
right.
with it. You know what I
All
mean?
right.
Because I want to do it, and that holds me accountable as well.
Yes. Okay. All right, guys. I went over a lot tonight. I didn't mean so. We've got to get these meetings down to more. Not. We went over 2 hours.
This
It's
is living
6:30. It's
manna. We
actually
never do anything we never do anything where it's in the time slots. You know that by now.
we get to talking. But well, thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Gina. Any health tips you have, any products that you're using, good, clean products you want to share that you come across, please do that with the group, especially as ones are beginning to make transitions. That is so beneficial, because I didn't have that. I had to, mine was what they call it. Mine was trial by fire. And I look at how many things I wasted and recipes. So you have good tasting recipes that are good, clean for healthy eating. Please share that with the group, because it helps them in their transitioning, to the 8 laws of health and a better lifestyle. So thank you all for tonight. And, I just want to say that I wish above all things that thy will prosper and be of good health, even as thy soul prosper. There's another scripture. And Jill, which is your favorite? Whatever. So
Whether you eat or
your
drink,
favorite scripture. Yeah. Will you say that
whether
one?
you eat or drink, or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God.
Amen.
1 Corinthians 10:31. It's one of my favorite ones. It's not the only one though. There's other ones.
Yeah. So that is, even as whatever we drink or eat, we should be doing that to the glory of God. So praise God, and everybody have a good night. And this is recorded if you want to go back and look at it. And we'll see
Put
everybody
it in the
next week.
women's chat. This is amazing stuff, Sister Jackie. You're doing some amazing stuff. You're sharing some amazing slides. Please, please, because if you do shorts, I can share it with my family, and I can send it in my little family group and then get them interested. You know what I mean? If you just do a little like short, please, because I want to share it with my family. I want my
Like
mom
do
to
a
come, and I
reel?
want my
Are you
sister to
saying
come.
like do a reel or something from it?
Yeah, but with reels, you can do shorts. Like, how Pastor has those little 30-second, 60-second,
Yeah. Okay.
90-second shorts. And then
Okay.
that
Yeah.
way, just think of what you saw or what you said today that was a highlight, and
Okay.
you put the reel in, and you put it in to into the women's group, into Mighty, into different places. Because we have some other things coming up next month that you're going to be an integral part of the women's ministry with what we're doing. And we want to start getting these reels done. You know what we're doing.
Okay.
I can't say it.
Yeah.
Wait, no one else is on. Oh, Sister Jill doesn't
Right.
go to our church, does she?
Yeah. No, she doesn't. It's
Okay.
just hard for me because I have so much to
With the
do.
cookout, with the cook-off. because
Yeah,
we're
for the
planning on
cook-off.
using you a lot with the cook-off. So this is a nice lead up, with you having those nutritional things in there, that's a nice lead up to the cook-off as well. Do you know what I mean? Because we're
Okay,
gonna have
yeah,
you sharing some of your nutritional knowledge,
yeah.
in that with that cook-off.
I don't know. I hope so, because I don't know that everybody in the cook-off cooks, I'm gonna be honest. I don't impose upon other people those things that I live by myself, but there are just some things I don't do. And I'm sure that, some people, there are just some things I'm not, you know, you like texture and all that stuff, like was it Santina? I forgot what do they call that thing, Jill, that they use to make that gluten. I don't do that. I don't do gluten. That gluten loaf with
And-
that gluten. What is it called?
Oh, they make the gluten with like what's it called? High gluten or something or?
I don't know. It's something that they make those gluten loaves and stuff. I
Oh,
don't. I don't.
yeah.
I'm against those products. I'm against all of those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
You don't
against
do daily
everything.
bread?
That and
You don't do
Yeah,
daily
that's
bread?
those things. There's no new. Those things are
no
poor for your
gluten,
health.
no.
All
So
of
no
those things.
sprout, so no sprouted bread. No sprouted bread?
It's
Is it
best to do
gluten free?
gluten-free bread.
Yeah, I do gluten free. I do gluten free
Yeah,
sprout.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sprouted.
gluten-free sprouted, it'd be good.
Yeah, like barley with this and that. It tastes. It took a while getting used to it, but hey, I'm learning.
Okay, so
Mhm.
I could, I do have a couple of recipes that I can share that I've made my bread with lentils and I've made it with the black lentil. So I made it with lentils and I've made some with lentils and oats. And so I could share some of
Mm,
that too.
I love
Yeah.
lentils. So again, like I said, the more you share, little
Okay.
things are just getting out a taste of manna. You're giving a taste of it. Just throw a taste like each, of what you gave us tonight because it's an
Okay.
appetizer. So that's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. All right, guys, I gotta
All
go.
right.
Two
All right.
hours.
See you all next week.
Next
Okay.
week.
Bye-bye. Bye,
Bye.
Jill.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.